The French economy is on the brink of catastrophe. The French Prime Minister is warning the country to take drastic measures before the entire economy collapses.
France's economy is dilapidating. People, see, when you think you are the greatest, when you two beat small pikin, when you two beat small children, when you two beat them, when the pikin go do bad thing, she will say, "Kukuma, na only beat you, beat me. Anything you want to do them." That is what is happening to France now. You know, if I'm talking pidgin and they say I'm missing with English, don't blame me. I am a Nigerian. I'm broken. I had to train me with. Okay, now imagine France. They are complaining, and France is crying. France is bleeding. Their economy is dilapidating. It's going down day by day. Why? I'll tell you why. The African nations that they colonized are beginning to withdraw themselves from France. Why? Because the amount of resources France is taking from there every month and every year. Oh, when they calculated it, I can't give figures. I will give the video for you to watch. When they calculated it, when they saw the revenue France is getting from them, nobody tell them to wake up. They woke up and took the bull by the horn. You know now, the giant of them here is Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. France is fighting tooth and nail to bring down, to make sure these African nations shouldn't stand on their own. What is it with? I think they said they are civilized. Don't they have resources on their own? Is it that before your nation is standard, you have to share blood of innocent souls? I think they said they are civilized. Is this how civilized people work? Fighting for what is not yours, a land that is not your own. You say blacks are monkeys, but you are fighting what belongs to black, what belongs to monkeys. Anyone that is dragging something with monkeys, he or she same time is monkey. Black skin is not good, but you love the resources that comes from a black man. Hey, France's economy is dilapidating. They are crying. They are shedding blood, and now people are now relocating from France to other country now. And France, they are now soliciting the help of IMF, International Monetary Fund, for them to borrow their money. Hey, France, Macron.
The French economy is on the brink of catastrophe. The French Prime Minister is warning the country to take drastic measures before the entire economy collapses. The crisis that is in France is way worse than a lot of people expect. It might seem like an exaggeration, but if you give it a closer look, you will find out that France is mathematically headed into a bankruptcy. And if France is not going to change its policies today, France is over. If you think that I'm exaggerating, let me explain. Over the last 25 years, France has accumulated so much debt that most people cannot possibly imagine. And compared to France, the US debt crisis doesn't seem like a big problem. You see, in 2008, when the global economy has collapsed, the French economy was overexposed to the United States and the global economy, which led many financial institutions in France to go bankrupt, which forced the government to intervene and borrow as much money as possible to save the economy. That's when the French debt to GDP ratio has almost doubled in a couple of years. It is normal for countries to borrow money when there is a crisis, but when you're out of crisis, you're supposed to pay off that debt. But here is the trap that the French government fell into. You see, after 2010, bond rates all across the globe has went down dramatically. So borrowing money between 2010 and 2021 was dramatically lower than ever in the history. You could borrow money at 1% interest rate. So French politicians started massively borrowing money, and you can clearly see that if you compare debt to GDP ratio of France. Since 2010, that number kept growing. And then in 2020, a crisis happens which forces the government to yet again borrow as much money as possible to save the French government. You're forcing people to stay in their homes, so you gotta pay them something so that they don't starve to death in their houses. So the debt to GDP ratio almost reaches 120%. France since then has slightly paid off some of its debts, but it's still very high at 114%. When there is a crisis and you borrow that money at such a low interest rate, the crisis is over, maybe it's time for you to pay that debt off. And if you don't do that and the time to pay off the debt comes, what are you going to do?